Alright, boys. Now, it's time. It's time. Are you guys ready? Alright, so, guys, as we said, the PTR test server came out. I have it on my background right here. It's ready to go with all 23 characters. I have all 23 classes that is eligible for the test server thing. So, as we said, just like last time, we had a test server update at April. And before, during like a Aloha on, they said that we were going to have another balance, like a wave of balance patches. And they have done that. So it's a little smaller than the April patch, but we're going to see like what they're actually trying to do. And as always, for NA viewers, what's important here is you guys are kind of looking into the future. So even if the market is kind of impacted, until the update actually happens, it does go back and forth. So one thing that is really important for you to learn with watching the video is don't FOMO, right? Just know the information and just feel good about it or feel bad about it or figure out what you want to do as the patches hit. And also at the same time, this is a test server. It can always change. So what I'm going to do is it's going to be in the description as well. You can type notes and then you'll access this page where, you know, I've been always using it for synergy, engraving, stagger tier lists, you know, like engraving calculators. I have all this stuff, low pang silver, crit calculator, right? G3, cheat sheet, relic set notes. I'm just using the same Google sheet, and I'm going to change all this stuff here accordingly here, okay? Now, let's go over the balance changes now. The good stuff incoming. Let's see. Class balance patch. Quickly reviewing what their comment is this balance patch was based on classes that feel that needs a bit of change, right? And this happens to be not just damage related, visual, battle, and the class's identity. So the identity, the class engraving skills, and tripod has been a little bit changed. And at the same time, the classes that are performing, overperforming, and underperforming has been adjusted a little bit as well. And as for new class Aeromancer, they're trying to change something, stuff a little bit, but since this is a new class, which it requires a little bit more research, test server didn't really have anything special within Aeromancer. General balancing, set item, hallucination changed. What has changed for hallucination? Whenever it crits, you get the hallucination buff for 1 second, and the second increases every crit. So basically, for those of you guys don't know about hallucination, if you attack a boss, right? If you attack and it crits, you get 1 second of hallucination, and the hallucination gives you, you know, 20% crit rate. You guys have 15% at level 1. Level 3, you have 20%. And every time you crit, that 1 second increases. At set 6, what happens is if you happen to get this hallucination buff for 9 seconds, it turns into realization, where the buff lasts about 90 seconds. Now the change has been, instead of crit, it's just landing. As in, even if your attacks don't crit, it counts as a hallucination stack. That's actually huge. That means every single hit will impact 1 sec. So it basically works as a salvation now. For salvation, all you need to do is just attack, you're good. So hallucination set did get buffed, which is nice, because I did talk about that hallucination buff needs a little bit of work, because it's underperforming compared to other set items. Now let's take a look at this. It says 90 seconds, and you know, every time you crit, it increases 1 second. Now it's 120 seconds. That's huge. That's actually really big. It's almost the same as salvation now. So hallucination became really nice. And also at the same time, instead of crit, it's attack. So the buff lasting is going to be exactly like salvation. The problem of hallucination was that you had a chance to lose that buff. You lose this realization buff, because this realization buff is insanely good. It gives you 15% damage increase and 8% additional crit at level 3. So in my level 3, like let's say a Shadowhunter character, it gives me 28% crit and 15% damage increase if I have the realization buff, which it heats up for 9 seconds. So I need to attack for 9 seconds, and after 9 seconds, I get to have this secondary buff, and it only lasts 90 seconds. And sometimes when I go to like a cutscene or I need to do like a mechanic, the buff tends to die sometimes, right? Because it needs to crit in order for me to increase 1 second of the time. Now, since it's going to be a regular time, it's going to be so much easier to keep this buff up, because keeping this buff up is a higher ceiling for most of the transformation characters. Alright, Berserker. So Berserker's technique is 35, 50 to 70% crit damage. If you get out of the Berserk phase, you don't turn into exhausted mode. What has to change now is when you are transformed, the damage is increased from 16, 24, 32%. It changed into damage. That's crazy. You know what that means? I think Berserker can use Keen Blunt. So here's the thing. This is the only change, and it seems like the developer said Mayhem seems to have just a little bit of decent performance after the patch, right? But Zealot's Biggie, Berserker's technique, has increased in buff, but it's been showing underperforming stats in the game, so they have increased it into damage. So like it seems like since it converted to damage, it's an overall it's an overall increase in damage because it's instead of crit damage, right? The floor is going to be raised instead of the ceiling, and it's just going to be like overall the floor just went up. And the ceiling went up too. You guys just basically got increased damage for any of the Berserker's technique players. However, I don't think this is a case where Mayhem will need to mold and then switch over to Berserker's technique, because they're both different playstyles. As I said yesterday, Berserker's technique playstyle is a burst playstyle with the transformation with meter gain. Mayhem's playstyle is just being Mayhem, like just spam skills, act fast. Right, piano all the skills and just go ham. That's what Mayhem is. Okay, so within this change, I think it's pretty good. I think it's people who've been trying, Berserker's technique, they'll be a little bit they'll be happy. So I think that's pretty good. It's a good change. Gunlancer. So Gunlancer, I did say I did want it to. The only thing I was sad about Gunlancer was their fucking bash range, and it's right here. 30% to 70%. Holy fuck, I actually have to see how far this is. Problem with the bash was the range was so short. So you had an issue where, let's say you do your dash upper fire and then you bash, it doesn't land. Even if you have the tripod sometimes. And this is even worse for the Chart Stinger. And then you move back so far that your bash doesn't land. Right? And same case when you're here. Like, where I was right in front of the boss? Not many times you're gonna be doing that. So you could be like here, right? You could be here, and if you Charge Stinger, and then if you bash afterwards, this hits because it's Charge Stinger. But if you're over here and then do a Fire Bullet, what happens is you move backwards. So bash usually doesn't land even with the tripod, right? Same thing if I go like that and bash, it doesn't land. If I do this here. Well, this one you can't land. So what you usually do is when you do your combo, you backstep and then you bash, and then you Shout of Hatred again, and then you use your Charge Stingers for that full synergy. Because you need to land your bash in order for you to have that 33.5% damage increase. Now the problem was the range of the bash. Now let's check the new range. Finally, we can check the new range. Holy! Wait, so if I get close. Oh, it hits! The animation, it's like all red here, right? Animation was like here, I think. That's double the range. Cool. To the next one. Destroyer. Earth Wave. They added a new skill. So one-man army became Earth Wave. And then, so let's see. Oh, it says it gains additional gravity at level 5. It gains additional 21% gravity gauge. So this is for a gravity destroyer. And then at 3 cores, you have the cooldown tripod, which is nice. So you can actually use this pretty fast. What says at level 5? At 10 seconds. So the cooldown of this is 24 seconds. This can be a 14-second skill for either a meter gain skill or just a damage skill, because if you level this up, it increases 70% damage. So this is a movement skill as well, but it seems like if you get the 3rd level tripod, you don't move, and then you use the wave afterwards. So let's try it out real quick. So if I use the Q, oh, that's nice. I think that's a pretty nice skill because you add some of that mobility. You add some of that mobility there. But like Destroyer, mobility skill on a Destroyer is pretty nice. But if you have that level 3 tripod for this one, apparently you don't dash anymore. So you just change it to like a spinning, like a spinning hammer like that. That looks sick, actually. I think this seems to be the preference for me because the Destroyer doesn't really move as much. You want to be in the front, you know, where like you do the endure pain, and then you try to land your skills. It's very fast. It's a quick 5 mil hit. It's a quick 2 mil to 5 mil hit on crit. When you have the full course too, let me see. So you do the course real quick, and then you do your quick 6 million, and then dash away. It's pretty good. Oh, the effect changed. Holy shit. Did you see that? So the reason why I wanted to do this is because I wanted to see the meter gain difference. Yeah, that's how you do it. Okay, so you gain about that much. And then let's fill up the core again. And then I'm going to level this up to the full level, 21%. Let's see how the difference is. Not too much, but it was from here to here. When it was from here to here, but without the tripod, it should have been like about here. So you do see a little bit of gain. It's 21%. I mean, if you guys do spec and stuff, it increases even more. But other than that, that's what it is. Now let's check the other skill too. Perfect swing for 2 to 1. It says that it increased by 6.8%. So instead of like you hit twice into you just hit it once. And as for finishing strike, the tripod has been changed into gain gravity, which is instead of 50% lower HP, you do more damage. Instead, if you do have more cores you have, 21% gain on the gravity. And this skill, so this decreased in damage, but I think, yeah, it decreased damage a little bit because it's from 37.5 is 36.5 and then 60 to 58.6. It decreased just a little bit. So perfect swing is just a little bit nerfed. But no one really uses this particular tripod anyway, right? Golf 4. So I'm assuming this skill is for gravity training only. The gravity trainers. Because no one, like, they're not gonna do that. Oh, I think the animation overall just changed. The animation just changed, I think. Yeah, the Destroyer's movements and animation changed. Holy shit, wait a minute. Maybe the range didn't increase, right? But it looks so it's even more satisfying. 4! This is actually a big buff for Destroyer. Not only the animation changed. Did any of the other ones change? So this one didn't change. This one didn't change. It's just the skills that are new. Yeah, they got some more options and skills. A Destroyer actually feels like Destroyer. Like, as in the swing, just goes like going ham, you know what I mean? Okay, let's take a look at more. Seismic hammer, just increase in damage again. And this tripod also gave to gravity, increase in gravity gain. And also Earth Eater, increase in gravity gain. So this increase in gravity gain, tripod has been added for almost every single skills. Yeah, look at that, see, right here. This is gravity gain, they're all there. And they fixed the awakening. It says it decreases the animation. Let's check it out. Because this awakening was so shitty. Oh, it was just faster. The animation of this is so insane too. Look at this. Look at that. Look at that animation. That's so sick. Well, first thing for gravity is the issue was gravity training is decent, but their identity was a little bit different. Their gravity training, you know, the bonk mode, right? It did a lot of damage. However, the problem was the time to transform took a little longer. Gravity training Destroyer is actually, you know, their purple skill just still did enough damage. But with this change, it feels like with the gravity gain tripods, it seems like you can transfer much faster, but let's see how fast it is. So if I do this here, and then, you know, land my skill, right? And then, holy shit, wait a minute. It's already filled up that much? Holy fuck! Bonk, 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 bonk. Bonk! Go gravity mode again? Holy dude! Perma gravity mode, almost. Look at this. And then after I'm done, endure pain. So three cores followed up. Endure pain to another skill. Core fill up right now. Do another tap skill. Transform. Damn! Wow. Dude, I think Destroyer's crazy. Check this out. Like, some of you guys were saying things like, you know, if the boss doesn't move, right? The thing about gravity training, the best thing about gravity training is not like the damage and all that stuff. The fact that you transform and you get this much shield and then you have this much defense, right? It's just so much easier to do DPS. Like, so some of the newbie players that I've played with, I suggested gravity training because it's an easy class. It's a super easy class. Looks like the stagger is going to be super OP too. So in my opinion, for Destroyer, it feels, oh, they even changed the engraving. Oh, the engraving just gave you additional core. So like the transformation, so basically the transformation has been super fastened. And also you saw that lightning when I do the normal attack. The lightning is impacted when I actually land 3 times. So here, let me show you this. So if the engraving changed to a point where if I just felt the bubble right here, real quick. Right? Do that. If I transform, if I hit him 3 times, there will be a lightning. You see that lightning with the additional 1 million damage? Like that? That's an additional attack for the engraving. Like, yeah, Destroyer's supposed to be slow but do a lot of damage, right? Which is true. And within this meta, they have adjusted their playstyle accordingly, which is, you know, increasing their full swing range and all that stuff. And not for gravity training, they added new tripods to help gravity training playstyle overall, which is we have seen where you can go into gravity mode very, very fast, right? And so for Earth Wave, for someone that doesn't use Supercharge as a Destroyer, they give it additional options for them to use. For example, you notice I gave them no Supercharge, right? Supercharge was almost a must for Destroyers, the Rage Hammer Destroyers, but you don't need it anymore because most of the skills now that has a tripod, it removes the charge, as in it turns into a regular skill. So this perfect swing, this particular tripod, it turns into a regular skill instead of charge skill. So you can still play the charge mode, but it gave basically the developers gave an option to turn this into a regular skill so that they can play different playstyles. And I think this is a really nice change. I think gravity training is 100% viable for sure. Like much better. Playstyle is completely different, much faster. So definitely a great class for newbies. I think this is one of the best class for newbies now. I personally think that this gravity training is one of the best class for newbies. New class for bots. All right. Scrapper. Decreased shock damage by 3.7%. Only. Scrapper is still one of the best class in the game. Because guys, why is Scrapper OP again? Is easy. One, easy. 2, huge damage. Taijutsu is really good. So I think that's good. I don't really need to check anything here. So it says Scrapper for last balance patch. For almost every single content, they've been overperforming for end game contents, which is like, 1580 stuff or like Broshaza and stuff. Especially, Shock Scrapper has been super high in damages within the raid. So they have decreased shock damage a little bit. Soulfist. 2.8% damage. Easy dodge. So, how about visuals for Scrapper? But they didn't mention it. I don't think they changed anything. They should mention it if they change visuals, right? Oh, they did in the lower end? Well, we can check after because we don't really need to check these things. We can check visuals afterwards, okay? The reason why we went over Destroyer a lot because there's just a lot more information in here compared to... I don't need to log onto my Scrapper to check the 3.7% damage decrease, guys. Yep. 3.7 is like losing about a couple of specs, or it's like a half an engraving, so it's not that much. Lance Master, holy shit! 6.6 on the red skill? Damn. Hey guys, you know what this means? Molang Illy or Raid Static, she's probably happy. But she probably need to respec because this means, you know what this means? 5-2, that's my build. My build is dead. 5-2 means you have 5 blue skill and then 2 red skills. Now, it feels like everyone is going to try to add more red skills to increase their damage. Alright, let's keep going. Artilirist. Holy shit. Artilirist changed so much. Let's log in. As for spec stats, the damage for Barrage mode has been changed into 0.6 from 0.5. This is actually pretty big. The gauge gain has been changed from 0.7 to 0.1. But I don't know 100% about this, but we'll see. Oh, the UI changed. Look at that. My skill disappeared. What happened? One of my skill disappeared, man. And also for PvE, normal skill and awakening has increased in 16%. The damage for barrage mode is increased by 25.3. And PvP is a 6% decrease. What's this one? So they added a new skill. Let's see what this does. It says fires a... I think it's a stagger skill. So it seems like so this is the regular meter for putting up that crit rate, right? And this is the meter for transformation. So you need to fill this up. So they split it off. Oh, this the skill animation change. I want to see that. So every time you hit, it increases the barrage gauge. So let's check this one out because this is a new tripod, I think. Oh, this is much faster. Look how fast this is. Because I used this. He goes poof, poof. This one is super fast. It's quick. Because this is like a thing where you use it for the synergy. But it seems like it's really good because it's much faster. And this one, it has changed into fast. They added a new tripod for the rockets. This particular new tripod, it says it's faster, and then whenever you fire, you move backwards a little bit. Let's see. Let's move back a little bit. That's fast. And the farther you are, do more damage. Nuclear bomb. It's just increased damage. But it removed the DOT. This particular skill, it removed the DOT. Just increased damage. Let's see. Did it change anything? Probably didn't change anything. Yep. The mushroom cloud. This one, this particular skill, all meter related stuff is gained by 50% more. Now this one, instead, it increases the meter gain for the barrage gauge is gained instead of a firepower gauge. It changed into firepower gain. So basically, the Artilirist has this thing called a reload tripod. This is called a reload tripod, where if you level them up to full, 150% gauge gain on barrage, which is on the gauge on the right. Right? It's a lot. Okay, now this one's turned on. It became like a steampunk, huh? Kind of like a steampunk. And the flamethrower increased damage 31.2%. The gauge gain has increased by 2.8. The cooldown is increased. Increased mana usage. Fast tripod. The cooldown tripod has increased in seconds. And the gauge gain tripod became into reload again. So you use the flamethrower to fill up the barrage gauge. Gravity explosion. Increased damage by 90%. Well, this skill is actually pretty shit. So no one really used it. And it increases the gauge gain for 92%. Perfect zone is increased. Increased crit rate. Oh yeah, this is the one I knew. Yeah, this is the one that I use. The jump stack, it just decreased by 0.1%. The cooldown for the barrage skills, it went from 9 to 7. It turned from regular skill to holding skill. Now identity changed a lot, huh? With the engraving too. Shit. Now they have split off into firepower gauge and barrage gauge separately. The firepower gauge has gained a lot more for it says it's 270% more based on the old one. And the barrage one is 60% of the regular gauge, so it's a little less. And this is the barrage skills. You can gain 100% more gauge for the identity gauge. I mean, I guess I will need to read the engraving to understand. So, firepower engraving. It says decrease in 20% taking hits. And if you fill up the firepower gauge to full, your normal skills damage increases by 15 to 25%. Barrage gauge's duration increases by 8 to 10 to 12%, 12 seconds. And barrage changed into increase in barrage skill damage by 15, 20, up to 30%. And then the crit rate is increased by 30. Oh, you gain 30% more barrage gauge. Yes, and then you don't go to cooling. So the firepower gauge does increase. The rotation is decent, right? And the barrage mode, you just transform, you use your skills, right? And then you transform back. No cooldown mode. So it seems like double engraving it seems to be like a must thing, I guess. I can't tell much, but it seems like they just, if I read the developer's comment, you use the heavy artillery, and at an important time you use the buff and then use the barrage mode to dish out a lot of damage. But because of the monster's patterns and gimmicks, it's tough to do a particular barrage mode. And if it requires them to go to barrage mode as a mandatory thing to need to do, that causes a lot of problems. Therefore, what they did was they split the firepower and barrage gates separately to decrease the playstyle's difficulty. And as for firepower engraving, it was mandatory because of the crit rated stuff, right? But now, since it changes, it changed it to have like a particular concept for both builds. Well, it kind of makes sense. I kind of know where it says, like, you know, Artilirist is a very easy class, but however, at a very end game rates, when you are forced to transform and then do dish out damage as a barrage Artilirist, let's say Valton grabs you, right? That's a problem. So I think they reworked it to a point where transformation is going to be has a little bit more freedom, and then have more choices in between, where just to transform back and going back and forth. I think that's what their goal is. So losing this crit rate is pretty big, actually. Instead of because it increases normal attack skills. So it seems like you can just have barrage. You don't need both, I think, because it just increases damage. And it increases the firepower's level 3 gauge by 12 seconds. So technically you can just have barrage. It makes sense. But having both of them is not bad either, because it increases the normal skills damage. It's just that both of their class engraving just became decent separately, but you can also use both of them because it impacts the damage overall. So I think it just needs a little bit more research. In my opinion, for Artilirist, it would need new research, but it won't force people to have one build, because this crit spec Artilirist was just so good. The crit spec double engraving Artilirist was so good to a point that everyone was forced to go with that mode, and then you're stuck with this wheelchair shit, right? But I think you definitely has potential. It has even bigger potential, and then has the freedom of having different builds now. This is definitely a buff, but it's a nerf and a buff at the same time, because like they removed the OP-ness, they adjusted to a different playstyle, so it's not bad, if that makes sense. Sharpshooter, yeah, Stoops, 4.8% damage increase, Stoops. So Sharpshooter at the last balance patch, they have adjusted identity related things and buffed them a little bit. However, within the end content statistics, they are not reaching the performance as they expected, so they just decided to increase every single skill's damage. What the fuck is this, man? They don't give a shit about Hawkeye, dude. I think developer doesn't really care about Sharpshooter. That's weird. All right, that's Sharpshooter. Scouter. Oh, this is an increase in animation for getting up. Increased by 4%. That's actually nice. I thought the transformation Scouter was doing shit damage because remember what I was saying on my stream sometimes? I said that Shadowhunter is better than Scouter. I'm not joking about that. Like Shadowhunter is way better than Scouter. Like 60-10, like 60%, 100%. Like Scouter is literally booty tier compared to Shadowhunter. And it seems like they just increased the damage though. Scouter's strength is this. Scouter's playstyle is you transform faster, so you have a bunch of shields, so you're technically more tankier, right? And then you lose less HP. You transform much faster with the high spec, so you just dish out much more piano-ish skills, and then you have longer range than Shadowhunter. Shadowhunter, on the other end, if you have a higher spec, you transform. Your transform time increases, so you stay in transformation phase much longer, right? So the problem is the fact that Scouter need to transform back and forth much more than Shadowhunter does. Their transformation damage overall is much lower than Shadowhunter. So they have more downtime on the transformation, and they do less damage. That's the problem. So I'm assuming they just increased damage. And also at the same time, they said PvE, except normal attack, every single skill's damage has increased by 4%. That means AT Scouter is buffed as well. they're both buffed. Next one, Gunslinger. PvE shotgun skills damage increased by 5%. Didn't expect that one. Fuck, man. I just switched to 7M. So it increased by 20%, technically. And then this increased by... So it's an increase. Tight spot's a nerf, but like it increased the... Alright, and Gunslinger also has an engraving change. Handgun, same. Shotgun is 10% increase in crit rate. Increase in damage from 5, 10 to 15. Holy shit. So it's 10% crit and then increased damage. And then it increases 50% for a class that is under... So rifle is the same too. And for time to hunt, handgun and rifle is from 22, 33, 45. Holy shit. The developer said that Gunslinger, as for high level content, the damage statistics seems to be very stationary and much. It says stationary. Okay, I don't even know what stationary means, but it seems like in the lower section. So they changed into shotgun tripods a little bit, buffed the shotgun tripods a little bit, and changed the engraving to increase their overall damage together. So therefore, I mean, it seems like you have to go level 3 Peacemaker. The biggest buff here is the 9/7 stone Peacemaker, where you have level 3 Peacemaker and then level 2 Adrenaline. That build just went skyrocketed because that just increased damage to 15%. And Adrenaline being level 2 as well. And the problem with Gunslinger was this. If you have too much crit, because this stupid engraving gives you 25% crit rate for shotgun, you're over critting on shotgun. Your crit is just a little higher for rifles. They kind of balanced out the crit rate for both shotgun and rifle with this change in engraving. And then change in tripods and increasing damage on the shotgun. Therefore, the 5/3... might be really good for Peacemaker, but having a level 1 Peacemaker is still totally fine, I think. It's like, I don't have to mold and then switch my build. But eventually, I think I will have to switch my build. Or actually not, because technically, let me do the math real. So the benefit of having a level 1 engraving is you go 5/3s and a 1, right? So if you go 5/3s and a 1, technically this engraving gives me 5% damage increase, right? But if I go Peacekeeper 3 and then go Adrenaline 1, what does this do? So if I go Adrenaline 1, it turns into 5% crit rate, and it increases 15% damage on shotgun and 30% on the rifle thing. So this inverted build might actually be better, but you will need more crit stat, I think, because what is my total crit here? It would be, if I happen to have this particular build, this is 5%, this is 45.52, so it's not bad for a keen blunt, right? So you're still, well, I think time to hunt got a buff for sure, because time to hunt, full spec crit time to hunt was really strong. Now they just have even a higher crit rate, so that's actually even better. But I only play Peacekeeper because I like the shotgun. So in essence, I don't think it's a huge change. I think they just increased 5% damage. That's it. And then this particular engraving and stuff, having level 3 Peacemaker is definitely better, because the rifle damage does go crazy on level 3. It just gave me more options. So technically, when I have time, when things get cheaper, I might just do it the opposite. Like everyone's gonna change it opposite, where they go level 3 Peacekeeper and then level 1 Adrenaline. I think this is stronger overall. And if you have a 9/7 stone, we'll definitely go Adrenaline too. But I don't have a 9/7 stone. So like if one day if I have a 9/7 stone, this would definitely be the most highest ceiling Gunslinger build that you can ever have. And like they buffed this particular build. The 3/3, like I wanted to do this build, but I couldn't do it. I spent millions of gold on it. So I went to this build, what everyone has right now. This backwards, Peacekeeper 1 with 5. This is what I have right now, right? But after the update, this is actually stronger, right? But if you have a 9/7 stone, what does that mean? You're even stronger. That's how it's simple, right? So I think Peacekeeper is good. I think Peacekeeper engraving is a good investment. Level 1 is still fine, but level 3 has been buffed and more balanced towards play style damage. So the engraving is a good investment for reaching high, because the 3 3 3 3 3 2, there we go, that's it. Summoner, what the hell, what happened here? This is a rework for global release, isn't it? So Summoner had the biggest problem with Summoner is she takes advantage of spec, but she can't utilize spec as much. So most people do swiftness crit with hallucination, and the reason being is they're just spamming skills, if you know what I mean. Like, you just spam the summons and have the summons 100% up at the time. And due to them not able to gain enough identity gauge to do the high spirit summons, so basically the essential playstyle of a summoner is what I'm going to show you now. How a summoner usually plays is you have this meter here. So if you use your skills, what happens is you gain meter, right? And then you stack up, like, you stack up stuff. You stack up these gems, and then you technically use these gems to activate your skill, right? The skill over here. The higher the elemental is, the stronger the skill is. So let's say this is the last one, right? And this is the one that I use all the time. Holy shit! The animation changed! This guy's purple. Oh, what happened to Summoner? Oh, this is huge. Dude, look at this range. It was only like this much. It was just a purple, like a purple Archon spawning. Wow. Okay, so I mean, that's the playstyle. So you're supposed to use these these are called the high spirits, right? Her identity, right? And you're supposed to swap back and forth and all that stuff. But the class was fundamentally weird to a point that you just go full swiftness and then spawn a bunch of summons, and then all you do is, oh, you can actually command your summons to as a shift click. Yeah, so summoner, you just keep the summons up 100% of the time. Why the fuck did he go walk back and forth like that? He's still an idiot. Tibbers is still an idiot. So, and you just keep spamming skills for that synergy. That's how the class work. Damage of the high spirit based on spec has been increased from 0.75 to 0.85, and some of the skills are increasing the identity gauge gains. Identity gain from summons is nerf. Sorry, 60% nerf, 40% nerf, 20% increase. This is increased though. The casting time has been decreased to 2 seconds because this thing takes forever. Look how fast it is now. This used to be super slow. And then they changed the tripod from fire and just increased damage, 50% increase in damage. So most of the regular skills, they increase in meter gain. Casting, they put this shorter now too. Did the awakening change? Still the same guy. However, the awakening that changed was this one. They said it increases the meter gain by 100%. So let me check this out. We'll just use this real quick. Wow, it's a lot of meter gain. Damage of all high elemental skills. And the last one, they just increased the attack speed. So that's why like he attacked much faster. Now, and for engraving, it changed from, if you have the high spirit engraving, it just increases the high spirits animation. So assuming the animation is different because of the engraving, check this out. Yep, I was right. Okay. So if I do this, this would be the old one. This is the old one. This is the old summoner one. It just changed with the engraving. So if you add the engraving, the range is increased and then attacks much faster. That's what happened. It's the engraving buff. It's not the animation change. And it increases by 10% in damage at level 3, and then 16% crit rate increase. So this has to be level 3 now if you want to do high spirit summons, high spirit summon builds. And the other one, the other class build is, and for the summons, the summon time increases by 20%, up to 20%, and damage by 25%. It increases the summons movement speed by 10%, and decreases the summon skill by 10% too. And for developers commentary, it says Summoner is very tough to have a high skill point, a high skill damage, high DPS, and you need to have a specific build in order for you to have high damage, which was what I said was like, you know, high swiftness with double class engraving, and double class engraving are very, very expensive, as you guys know. With that being said, they said that for new players who are creating Summoner, this needed change. For skills that have a long casting time, or the troublesome tripods are adjusted to a point that is simplified, and increase the animation and damage of the high summons. Basically, the fight style is going to be the same, where you summon a bunch of summons and play while summoning the high spirit summons at the same time. So it's split up into two builds. It's a build where you utilize your summons, and a build that utilizes the high summons. So for new players, I think this is adjusted for maybe the global release of new players that coming in for playing Summoner. They wanted this change. But my question is, people will have to research a new build, because they will have to research a spec build. What they're saying is they have a casting playstyle, what I did, and then you have a summoning playstyle. Those are the two things. So they overall buffed it and added options for new builds, right? So you have high class got a little more simplified. Class a little bit more simplified, I think. Have specific build choices instead of you are forced for one. So as devs said, they wanted to simplify the class build for new users, and this is basically for NA. That's it though. I think that's about it. Let's move on. We have Arcana back flush. It's a new skill. Nice. They increased the RNG of the draw cards too. 5% increase in damage. Oh, they also added new cards. Wait, hold up. Oh my god, they made it more complicated, dude. They added 4 cards, but you add 2 cards for it's swap into 2 cards for these skills. Wow, this is crazy. This is a big change for Arcanist. So we have this new skill called back flush. Wonder what this is. Oh, this has synergy. Nice. This also has the tripod for movement speed afterwards. Movement speed after using the skill for 5 seconds. Also has, oh, it turns into 3. From 2 to 3. And this one turns it into a regular skill. And increased damage. So you can use it as a regular skill, even though it's a blue skill. There's combo flush and double flush. Let's see double flush real quick. Ooh. Ooh. It's like it gave her more maneuvering skill. But how would you land your skill if it? Oh right, the F skills, the range got buffed. So I'm assuming the range got buffed is because they can do something like that. Right. Let's try the other tripod. Because the point of this class is like the flow of the battle should be very, very smooth. Okay, so it's back. Okay. So you can actually go jump back and then go forward. That's actually interesting. So she can actually go front. So she can actually go front back. Right? And I like how the animations are a little bit added as well. There you go. There you go, see? There's that, right? And there's that. And there's that and that. Jesus Christ. They're moving everywhere, man. Gotta go fast, the movement. Now, so for this case, the regular skill, this skill says there's quick draw. This particular skill turns it into a stack skill. So this Q still can actually stack. Oh! So you turn it into a stack skill with a quick draw, with a fast attack. So you stack and draw at the same time. That's fucking insane. What's going on in this class, dude? But it is decreased by 20% though. The tripod. It's actually interesting that the yellow skill. It is so much better now in terms of the effects. They're much better. They're much easier to see. Like it's like gold now, you know? It's like gold and then all the animations are changed. Like it got improved. That's sick. So 30% thing for identity gain. Same for increasing Dark Resurrection, same thing. Less percentage to get the identity card. Evoke same 3 second. And then you have 20% chance to gain identity, so they decrease. So Quadra Auxiliary, you can press a space bar while you're first hit, like that. You can cancel it. But you notice they added a lot of animations, right? You notice that. That's sick. Dude, Arcanist main should be super excited because this is huge. This is actually really huge. I think the biggest winners are Destroyer and Arcanist so far. And then the damage there, the fake flip. This turns into a regular skill now. So if I use this skill over here, Dancing of Spineflower, no one really uses this. But if I give you an example, this is what happened. Where, I just do. So this fake flip this is a blue skill. So if I level this fake flip, it turns into a normal skill. If I use this here, it's yellow, right? Notice it's yellow here. But if I use this particular tripod, it turns blue. Oh wait, no, it should be blue. Hold on. Maybe they'll change it later. Yeah, it turns blue, see? Because it's a stack skill. So with a tripod, you are able to switch skills from yellow to blue. I don't know about red to blue though, but I don't think I've seen any yet. But let's see. Decrease damage on checkmate. That the weird build that our interviewer friend showed us. And Celestial Rain is buffed in range, and I think again the Celestial Rain's range has been buffed. I think is because of this back flush skill, because the back flush skill, what that does. The backflush skill, what that does is, not fake flip the card. If I use this as a skill like here, if I use this skill like that, let's say if I use this skill closer, I can use the Celestial Rain right away and then we'll hit. Now, 4 card changed a little bit, I think. No one uses this skill. Oh, reset. Holy shit, 55% chance to be resetted. I wonder if people will use this. And then you have full house tripod. Oh, increased crit rate? Wait, so this 4-card skill has a tripod of increasing damage, but has a tripod. You have a 75% chance to, not take away the stacks. And you have a reset tripod. Does that mean you can just spam this skill? So you have a chance to reset this card. And then you have a chance to not take the stack damage either. So this is a double reset. So it's like about, it's much less, but the fact that it resets, I like this. The reason why I like this is because it gives another option of a playstyle. Like I said, I'm gonna be a super Gamba playstyle. You know what I mean? I'm gonna get those resets. You know, like the fact that you have an option to do that and it's not going to be jeopardizing your play. I think that's good. I don't know if it can replace Secret Garden though. So like people will need to figure out like buffs, because like it seems like you don't have to use Serendipity anymore. I guess you can use it as a counter. Running 4 red skills is a little too much because you need the stack skills. But seems like since the Q skill itself is turning into a stack skill, might be different. So we go like that and then reset and then reset again, reset. That's how you would do. That's funny, dude. So now let's look at the cards real quick. Card changes. You have a higher chance to get the cult. You call this cult card, right? Cult, balance. So the good cards, the cult, balance, judgment, and then wheel of fortune card is higher in rate, higher in percentage in getting the rate, and all the other cards have been lowered. And for ghost card, it says movement speed increase, and then you can go through monsters. And then this one decreases cooldown by 20 seconds instead of 10 seconds, so that's a buff on the cards. So, and we added a new card, clown. Clown card is receive a card that you have used before. So if you have a cult card and then get a clown card, you use cult card and then you use clown card and then you use cult card again. That's how it would work. And this one says the cheer card. What does this? Let's see. I need to have the engraving real quick. Hold up. Look at that. Wow. So it decreases the cooldown of your skills by 15% on the leftover cooldown. As in, like, let's say I have a 10 second cooldown left. I take 15% off of that 10 second. And for additional 50% chance to decrease it for 30% instead. And now the newer card, this one is for 10 seconds. Your crit rate is increased by 10%. This is only activated if you have the Emperor's engraving. The balance and judgment card, these two cards are disabled and replaced into these two cards. That's how it works. So if I take this thing off again, so I don't have the Emperor card and then have these new two cards, but instead I have the balance and I have the judgment card. But if I have the Emperor card, so double class engraving, I don't think it works because you need a judgment card too, I think. I don't know. I don't know how. We're probably have to figure it. Some people will probably have to figure out. This particular card, it says for 4 seconds, your normal skills damage increases by 50%. That's huge. So if you use this and then you use your normal skills, probably. And the Lewin stack is a 55%. And so for cards, it adds the Emperor, and then all these cards will be split off. And normal skill damage is increased by 20, 30, 40%. And the Emperor's card damage increased from 0, 30, 80%. Holy shit, 80%, guys. If I was an Arcana main, I think I'd be super hyped. Because I don't play Arcana as much. I only play it as a just Vicus level, right? But if you guys are passionate about being the best Arcana player, you guys should be super hyped because you can research so many different skills and find your own play style and then increase damage, increase DPS as it is. I think that's like the most fun part about this game too. Gamba reset looks fun, and if someone goes like, "Oh, Gamba reset sucks," but the thing is, what if you have 4 Luin cards and then you make it viable or that kind of stuff? The joy of researching it and finding out is the fun part, I think. Let's move on. Destroy a Terra Break skill, 2T Totif Summoner Travel. Shadowhunter's transformation is changed into having the skin. What the fuck? Yeah, this is it. This is the last change. So none of the class. Maybe the class change will happen more in a bit, because some of the classes aren't in there, like, you know, like Reapers. So what are we missing? We're missing Paladin, War Dancer, Striker, Deadeye, Bard, Sorceress, Shadowhunter, Reaper, Deathblade, Artist, and Aeromancer. So we're missing a little bit, but I think that's fine because they're focusing on certain classes and giving some more love to them. I'm okay with that, because if they try to fix everything, I think that's too much, man. I think like they should fix this much and then fix maybe War Dancer, Striker, and Deadeye afterwards. I'm totally fine. Wait, so it's a little weird, isn't it? The run kind of looks scuffed to me. And they also buffed this one. So, you know the when they transform, you couldn't dance? You can dance now. You wouldn't be able to dance before. Dude, the running animation kind of sucks. No cap. It looks so weird. They need to make it better, I think. She looks like she's power walking. I know. She's taking a jog on the park, dude. I'm taking a jog on the park. Let's go. That's good. That's it. That's it, boys, for the first day. That's a lot of stuff. Let's conclude. Hallucination classes got buff. So any classes that uses hallucination got a buff, where Shadowhunter, Scouter, they got a little bit of buff because the hallucination set itself is really good. Gunlancer, it's a buff. We got the thing that I always wanted, the bash range increase from 70% from 30. Bash actually lands after a few red skills. This is great. I'm kind of excited for that one. Destroyer, one of the biggest wins. One of the biggest wins. The gravity training is 100% viable. I think gravity training is a completely different playstyle. And I think people who are interested in Destroyer, starting out a Destroyer, maybe building a gravity training might be a good idea. Like, as in trying it out. There's a playstyle video back before. You can kind of look at it if you go back a little bit. That's good. Berserker. Zerk's technique is crit damage to 32% damage. So overall, Berserker's technique's DPS went up, but it's not saying things like, oh, you have to switch from Mayhem. It's just two different playstyles, and they tend to be a little bit more balanced within each other. They're just two different playstyles, okay? So within that, Soulfist is still very strong, only decreasing 2.8%. Scrapper, same thing, not much of a change. Shock damage decreased by 3.7, but I think Shock is still strong. Just a different playstyle again. And Taijutsu is also very good, so they're both very good. Scrapper is still very safe and very strong class for you to use as a newer user. Gaivier increased damage to 6.6 on red skill. So if you're playing Pinnacle, 5-2 is technically 5-2 build is technically dead. So it's either going to be 4-3 or 3-4 even, but I don't know. Like, needs research. So Gaivier might need a little bit of research from some of the Gaivier mains. So that's that one. Gunslinger. So Gunslinger change of the Peacekeeper level 3 is also good. Peacekeeper level 1 is still fine, but Gunslinger now has the highest ceiling build now. The highest ceiling build is 5 3s and a 2, with 2 being Adrenaline and then 3 being Peacekeeper 3. This has the highest damage potential, period. Before it wasn't, now it does. So both build Peacekeeper 3 and Adrenaline 1 and Adrenaline 3 Peacekeeper 1. They're both viable builds. It's like a side grade, so you don't need to mold and then like switch. I think that's my point of view there. And overall shotgun damage increased to 5%, so maybe going back into shotgun rapid fire might be a good idea, but you can still use rapid the bullet rain with the 7M build where you master 7 skills. So it's up to you. So I could probably go back to using 6 skills or doing 7 skills, doesn't matter. But the point is the shotgun damage increased, and I don't know which one does more, but it's probably like a side grade instead of like a instantaneous upgrade. So 9-7 Gunslinger build, the 5-3s and a 2 is an instant upgrade, but anything below that is just a side grade, so you don't have to worry about it too much. Don't spend your money on it. I think it's just a waste. Artilirist, a lot changed on Artilirist. The meter, the firepower, and the barrage is split up. So the playstyle is completely different for both of them, and it will need a new research, but it will not force people to have one build now, because right now the meta is full spec and then crit on barrage mode because it's so good, and everyone was forced to do that with double engravings, and that makes the class very boring and not have an option to do so. This particular build, it seems like you could switch back and forth much faster. You have an option to play a little bit differently compared to the other ones that we are doing right now. So I think this is a good change too. Scouter, 4% damage increase. I think this was kind of needed because Scouter was kind of underperforming in DPS. Sharpshooter, 4.8% damage increase is the same thing. But at the funny note, I think the devs don't really care about Sharpshooter right now. I think they should really care about some, because Sharpshooter is missing a lot of things other than just low damage. So Sharpshooter kind of needed like an Artilirist style of change. I think they got a little bit lazy on it, but maybe in the future they could change a little more. But just getting this 4.8% damage increase is good, because imagine if they didn't touch Sharpshooter, it'd be very bad. So any Sharpshooter mains out there, it's a really good news. Summoner. So I think Summoner got changed maybe because of NA release soon, like within 2 or 4 months, because the class got super simplified and have 2 specific build choices. You have a summon choice, and then you have a high spirit summon choice too. This also needs a lot of research. I can't really say for sure, but it got overall buffed and then added options for new builds. So I think this is pretty exciting for when like Summoner gets to get released. They have an option to play the class a little bit easier. Arcanist, also one of the biggest wins, almost as wins as Destroyer. There is very good. It added damage, like overall damage, overall buff on identity cards in terms of drawing a good card compared to the bad cards. Added new skills and added new tripod that changes yellow skills to blue and vice versa. What this means is, the reason why it's one of the biggest wins is it's going to have a big research where like you need to research on it, but it gives a lot more freedom to Arcanas to deal much more higher ceiling damage, and it's going to be much safer. And you will have also different playstyles. So you're going to go for a full Gamba style playstyle, or are you going to be having like a draw playstyle, right? With having those options, the fact that people can choose different kind of playstyle is, I think it's a big win, because just having a better playstyle, just having a playstyle that is comfortable for you, you're gonna do so much better in raids because you're just super comfortable about it. And other than that, there's no other changes to any other classes that are empty. And for Shadowhunter, you have the new skin for transformation. It's just standing still, but she is jogging on the park. Nice! I'm jogging. Gotta get those exercises done. So yeah, those are the changes. I think these are some good processes. I like it a lot. I mean, some people might not like it, but I think they're just doing a good job so far. I really like the Destroyer change. I really like the Arcanist change. I also like the Artilirist change. And I also like the Gunslinger change too. I just like everything. And Gunlancer, real nice too, because I've been playing Gunlancer a lot, right? So, with that being said, this concludes the long video of me covering the PTR. This is going to be edited in the video, and then you guys can check it out. And for this document, it's always there. You can type !notes, or you can check down in the description to get the to take a look at this note that I wrote. Okay, so that being said, this concludes the video. See you guys. Bye YouTube. Bye friends. Thanks guys. Bye. Oh, I think I've talked for like an hour, dude. I'm so hungry. Where's my friend? When's my friend coming over, man?